next is someone else's problem. The growing haze from coal-fired plants near big cities and dozens of developing nations that blackens the sky even during the day is unfortunate, but not something we have the bandwidth to care about. The fact that their lives are shadowed each day by a black sky seen through the haze of smog, soot, and smoke is something that other people will deal with. After all, we can see blue, sunny skies in America anytime we feel like it. We've forgotten that this blue sky was a freedom we fought for in America for decades. What seems to matter is that we have it now, not what we had to do in order to win the freedom to see that blue sky when we want. Black carbon rises into the atmosphere from millions of homes, hut stoves, forest fires, tailpipes from trucks burning diesel oil, brick kilns, and elsewhere as soot. This black carbon is nearly as responsible for trapping heat on Earth as its unseen, invisible cousin lingering overhead in the sky, carbon dioxide, that is almost entirely a byproduct of humankind's efforts to find cheap energy sources from the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Black carbon from soot and carbon dioxide from industrial activities have together created what is essentially a black sky above us, trapping heat and causing critical changes in weather patterns, ecosystems, and Earth systems. While the black sky effects in America are small and imperceptible right now, that isn't the case in other parts of the world. There are countries in southern Africa where extended, crippling droughts have forever altered the way families fight to live. Mothers in Madagascar are forced to boil cactus, the only plant that will grow now to feed their children. Since cactus has virtually no nutritional value, those children regularly die of malnutrition. But it's all mothers have to give their offspring with deformed, extended bellies, that and the occasional soup from boiled soot and ashes. Yemen is paralyzed by the world's first true civil war over access to fresh water. All but 2 of the country's aquifers have run dry, prompting armed conflict to protect the sources of water still there. Farther north in Africa, across the Sahel region that is seeing its desert expand, farmers are abandoning their land in the face of questionable growing seasons and sources of water, and becoming part of the flood of refugees fleeing from conflict, violence, and economic uncertainty. These refugees don't distinguish between their existential problems. They simply know they can die of environmental devastation, starvation, military conflicts, or economic collapse. They're all part of one very large, threatening landscape, forcing them from their homes into refugee camps or cities with no jobs. 1 billion people in India and elsewhere who still don't have access to basic things like electricity are beginning to wonder if the monsoon season that provides all of their fresh water might be in trouble. If it is, where will they get their water? Likewise, in China and parts of Asia, where thousands of disappearing glaciers at the top of the 3rd pole feed into nearly a dozen massive rivers that also provide fresh water for hundreds of millions of people, leaders in those countries are now fully prepared to defend their right to stop, alter, or steer those sources of water to assure that their people can live. It isn't only people who are affected. Tens of thousands of species who can't tell us about their lives or their habitats are under severe pressure. Routine snapshots of hundreds of species in studies by biodiversity experts are starting to show local extinctions. When a certain kind of species can't move fast enough to adapt to its changing environment and so simply disappears for good at that place on Earth. One recent snapshot of 1,000 species found that half of them were already experiencing local extinctions. Big, iconic species like giraffes and elephants are in trouble as well. They're hunted ruthlessly even as their natural habitats are threatened through environmental changes and development. They don't know why they're in trouble, but we do. Some of the creatures that every child in America has heard of could be gone from their natural homes in just 10 or 15 years. Extinction rates for all manner of species on Earth are 100 times higher than normal. 20 years ago, only a very small percentage of the Earth experienced extreme conditions, like a hot spell that could literally kill us if we tried to stay outside for an extended period of time. Back then, only half of 1% of the Earth experienced